Doom. This is big. What is coming right now in the news? It shows that they're facing a big defeat. Let me actually explain to you and let you know exactly what happened and why I'm saying this. Before we move on, just to remind you guys, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you happen to be one of them, consider subscribing. Let's take a look at this particular article that talks about Zionists. They are now retreating. Hezbollah forces Israeli retreat from Lebanon, launches rockets in Haifa, SYED fishing industry, and suffers impact of Israeli order to stay away from sea. Okay, so suffers impact of Israeli order. So Israel, they have asked this gas field, this fishery, and all of these coastal line businesses that they're doing to shut all of them down. But looks like right now, some of them are not paying heed. As a result, Hezbollah, when they attack them, they're getting targeted, their businesses are getting destroyed, and this is exactly what has happened. Now, obviously, the impact was very much seen by the media. IDF, they do not normally report on this. This is why we have to do it, because again, a lot of the time, I would say 99% of the time, you will not hear these stories from IDF or Times of Israel or from the Western media. Hezbollah stepped up its rocket attacks on Israel on Tuesday morning, launching its largest barrage of missiles to target Haifa since the start of the extensive Israeli assault in Lebanon earlier this month. Therefore, the attack, because it is getting intensified, the Hezbollah group, they are now feeling a lot more confident, because think about this, they are not only fighting inside of Lebanon, Hezbollah I'm talking about, they're also going after those businesses in the coastline area. The group's attack on Haifa and Tiberias in the early hours of Monday was the first to hit cities deep in Israeli territory since the 2006 war. Therefore, this war is becoming even more intensified. Hezbollah is going into the central of Israel, central of Tel Aviv. They're also going south Israel. They're reaching more and more areas with their missile targets. Tuesday's attack saw Hezbollah launch over 100 rockets in 2 batches, targeting Haifa and several Israeli settlements. The group said one woman was injured and several buildings were damaged in the attack, according to Israeli media. Of course, they are going to be denying the whole extent of the attack, the damage that it caused. Now, in addition to this retreat, now we have another report that suggests that Hezbollah directly hit 60 infantry units and 5 MERKAVA tanks in RAS AL-NAQOURA in southern Lebanon. As I have said to you guys, this war is expanding. Hezbollah is gaining more ground and they're going deeper inside Israel. So where is this Naqoura region? If you take a look at this one, it's right here. Naqoura is a very important city in Lebanon. It's actually a small city. It had the United Nations interim forces since 1978 to guard this city. And in this city, Hezbollah, they have destroyed those Israeli MERKAVA tanks with anti-tank missiles, and they are now on the back foot. Therefore, they're facing huge resistance. Again, you'll not hear this kind of news and stories on mainstream media, especially coming from Western media, those puppets. Now, let's talk about this one a little bit more. What happened in Naqoura? Hezbollah has announced that they targeted an Israeli tank while advancing to RAS AL-NAQOURA with guided missiles, which led to its burning and destruction, and multiple deaths and injuries of its crew. You have seen this kind of photos. I have shared this one of them yesterday, where you can clearly see that the Zionists, they feel pain. They do have emotion. These people, even though what they're doing is monstrous act in Gaza and also now in Lebanon, but they show pain and emotion. But only when their own people get killed, not for anybody else. Also, as I have said, you will not hear this news and stories from mainstream media even IDF right now, they are making things up. They're spreading false news and trying to spread their propaganda. Take a look at this particular image. This is a jeep, and this guy is holding a machine gun. Okay, this Israeli soldier. Now, why I'm showing this? Well, it is because Israel, after they have posted these photos and videos, they claimed to have captured several Hezbollah strongholds and tunnels in southern Lebanon loaded with weapons. So this is, again, the picture. They said this is a tunnel used by Hezbollah, and we have destroyed it. We have taken over this tunnel. A big success, big operation, and blah, 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 blah. All this propaganda. But do you know what happened? They showed an Israeli-made machine gun and a jeep that I showed you just now here. Basically, which strangely has an inscription in Hebrew that they forgot to remove, which suggests it's another propaganda video filmed somewhere in Israel. Everything you see about the Zionists, when they post a picture or video, question them. Don't believe them. Don't buy them. Why? Because these people are even worse now than CNN and BBC. Because this propaganda, the Israeli propaganda, idea propaganda, this is now for them a life and death situation in Israel. So they are obviously going to come up with a lot of fake news. Therefore, every time you see, Times of Israel says something or IDF says something, you don't just believe this. Most of the time, as Joe Biden, he said, 18 out of 19 ministers in Netanyahu cabinet, whenever they speak, they lie. So again, be careful about what you see and how you interpret those. Now, we have seen Ireland. They have recently refused to move their troops from Lebanon, the peacekeeping troops they have in Lebanon. And lo and behold, we now see that Israel is trying to punish them. How? Well, Hezbollah is now accusing IDF soldiers of using Irish peacekeepers as human shields. Will not target the area and risk their lives. So Hezbollah is saying that we are not going to be targeting this area because the Irish troops are there and they could get killed. And at the same time, IDF, they're using these Irish troops as human shields. We talk about Hamas using human shield, right? Hezbollah is using human shield coming from IDF. This is their propaganda, the lies. They have killed several hundred people when they killed Hassan Nasrallah, and these are all civilians. And they said, he was hiding behind the civilians. That is not the case, because that's his residence, that's his headquarters. He's gonna be there. I mean, would it is Israeli prime minister or the other ministers live in the sea or in the forest, in the jungle? No, they're gonna be living in the city. So Hassan Nasrallah, he was living where he should be. And Israel knew that there are so many other people in that area. Nevertheless, they dropped bomb worth 2,000 pounds. 8 of them, 8 of the fighter jet, they dropped these bombs, total 16,000 pounds, and killing in the process so many civilians, so many Lebanese. I mean, this is what they are. Now they're saying, we have Irish government. They don't want to listen to us. We're going to use their troop as our shield, and this is exactly what they're doing. Now, I have reported on this one, guys, and this is why the propaganda must be fought with our version of the story. Otherwise, these Zionists, they are going to lie and lie and lie and lie more. So Russia, they have their own people on the ground right now to assess the situation. We do not have to know Hezbollah's chain of command, what is happening in Israel, especially in regards to Hezbollah fighting the Zionist forces from Israel. We have Russian sources confirming that no, the latest assessment they have done shows that Hezbollah, they're still fighting, they're doing absolutely fine, no problem. And this is coming from Russian higher-ups in the government. And we have to go and find this kind of tweets and posts sometimes on social media. Obviously, at the same time, we have to verify. And how we verify that? Well, if you take a look at what Sergei Lavrov, he said himself at the United Nations, when he addressed the countries, he basically said that what Israel did with Hezbollah in regards to Hassan Nasrallah was not acceptable, was a horrible thing to do. This is just going to escalate the situation. In other words, he has spies, he has intelligence. Russia has intelligence through the Syrian fighters, through the Iranian proxy fighters, who are conveying all these details and stories to him, and they're making their own judgment based on that, based on what they find from the ground, and letting us know about facts and what is true. And therefore, we don't have to worry about Hezbollah losing their leadership echelon, because Russia is saying they're doing just fine. Now, I also want to share with you guys this particular news, and this is very, very embarrassing for United States. So let's take a listen. So Houthis, they have attacked a ship, okay, Liberia-bound ship linked with Israel. So this is what they said. The attack comes as the rebel continue to threaten ships moving through the Red Sea, a waterway that saw 1 trillion in goods move through it a year, over the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, stemming from the Israel-Hamas war in the Gaza Strip. A ship in the Red Sea, skirting the coast of the East Africa, found itself struck first by a projectile that damaged a vessel but sparked no fire and caused no injuries, the British military's United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations Center said. So 2 projectiles later fell in the waters around the vessel. And this, what is so important and interesting here to understand is the launch site, which is Hudaydah port in Yemen. Why it is important to understand this port is because, and where these projectiles were fired, is because this port, the Hudaydah port, was coming under attack by Israel in the past few days. In other words, what Israel is claiming, oh, we have destroyed Hudaydah, and US and UK, they also launched strikes on Yemen, especially in that area. And we get the impression, okay, so this port is done. Yemen, the Houthis, they can do nothing. They are being contained. But now, lo and behold, see, they are now firing new projectiles. They're now targeting new ships. And this is so important because, as Associated Press, AP News, they mentioned just now that route has $1 trillion worth of trade happening in 1 year. Therefore, it is going to be a huge pain in the back rear for all of these parties who want to have a strong economy and wants to survive the upcoming recession and the economic disaster looming large right now in the world that we live in today. If you have any more comment, leave a comment in the comment section below. I see some comments here. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.